our opener for the webinar. It's a great photo by Angeli Wilkerson. And Angeli teaches DPA classes in Dallas. And she submitted, for this webinar, she submitted 3 photos, all of which just happen to be Lens Baby. And you can see what I'm talking about here. This area right in here is very sharply in focus. You know, the pocket of the jeans, the hand. You know, very nice detail and sharpness right in here. And then as you go further out, and not even that far, and we're talking here in breadth of focus as well as depth of field, depth of focus. You see as you go into the background, it gets well out of focus, and in the foreground. So it's there's a very nice soft focus effect. But the reason I like these photos so much is they were, now I've got 2 of them here, 2 of the series that Angeli sent me. And there was definitely a third, and there might have been a 4th actually, of, one can assume either some people she was taking portraits of, or friends or something, and just out in the field taking pictures one day, and they were quite stunning. And, you know, just very ethereal, one for the Lens Baby effect, but also just the subject matter. Very, you know, a pretty young girl and just walking around with her puppy, and the other photos, there was one, I believe, what I'm assuming was her parents. It's very beautiful portraits, you know, very atypical portraits, not your staid sort of, you know, sort of standard formal kind of portraits. These were quite beautiful and ethereal, and they had a very nice feel to them. So the first thing I did, now talking about Viveza, this is what I've got open right here. Viveza 2 is the software. So I popped open the image, and Viveza is great because you can apply very precise controls to very small areas. In addition, you can apply global adjustments. Now, usually when I'm working my workflow, I'll apply global adjustments first, sort of get a feel, you know, apply a feel and a color and a sort of a depth to the picture. Just boost up the what you're looking at here. I've added structure, which you can see adds. There's a bit of rain. You can see these raindrops. Sort of. It's not actually raining, but the train is wet, so it really makes those pop out. Just gives a crispness to those kind of things. I've added saturation, which makes all the colors. You get this beautiful blue over here, some greens down here, and this is obvious. This is pretty obviously mixed light on the train platform. There's big overhead sort of street light kind of things. There's over my shoulder there's a little waiting room which is lit by fluorescent. I'm a big fan of mixed light in photos. I think it looks quite spectacular. So I've added all these things. I took down some shadows, and then I adjusted the curve slightly. You can see over here I've got not a radical shift on the curve, but just sort of bringing the shadows down a bit darker and boosting up the midtones a little bit. Next thing I've done, I've added one of the control points, and you can see here, you can see one of the control points I've added, and you can precisely control certain areas. So what I did on this part here, I wanted to bring out the middle, boost that up a little bit, brighten up the flags a touch. It was looking, in the previous shot, it was looking a little dark. If you look at the 2 here, look in this area here. You can't really, it's tough to read this we serve. It's a little darker. Down here, it's a little punchier. It's got a little more bite to it, a little jump. So I just lightened that a little bit. I'm a big fan of a light hand. Some of the samples tonight I've got you are really kind of blown out just to show you possibilities. But in terms of retouching, I prefer a bit of a light hand. I don't like things to look over processed. So the nice thing about this, you can do it very subtly and, as I said, very precisely, or you can go, if your style and your desire is to make it a little bit really over the top, you can go with that too.